Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is Scotty. Welcome back to a brand new Call of Duty Warzone video. I haven't uploaded in some time, and this video will kind of explain why. Because they were talking about why Verdansk is the last hope for Warzone, and why if this game doesn't fix all of its problems, this will be the last integration of Warzone. So anyone who's been a Warzone player for a couple of years now knows Warzone's been on a steady decline, and it's sad because Warzone was one of the games I enjoyed the most in my life. I met some of the most amazing people on Warzone, and I had some of the best videos on YouTube with Warzone, and I really hate to see the direction that it's going. I honestly thought with Black Ops 6 that Warzone was going to be revived, but man, could I have been more wrong. So let's cut straight to it. The first thing we gotta talk about is the anti-cheat problem. Now, you would have thought for a multi-billion-dollar company, they'd have one of the best anti-cheat systems. There's indie games with better anti-cheats than what Warzone has, and a lot of games that are very popular, like Valorant, for example, have one of the best anti-cheat systems. You can go on Valorant for literally weeks, and the odds of you coming across a cheater is actually very, very rare. But in Warzone, it feels like literally every game you're going to come across at least one cheater. Whether it be something small like an unlock tool, or something larger like just a straight up rage hacker, you're always going to find them. This is not a game that has a great anti-cheat. And for a game that's been almost out for I think 5 years now, I could be wrong, not having a anti-cheat developed this long into the game that actually works is kind of a big problem. The most this anti-cheat does is just literally delete your account, and with a free-to-play game, anytime a cheater gets banned, they literally just make a new account, hop back on, use a burner phone number for the two-factor authentication, and they're right back to cheating. They are going to kill this game if they do not fix their cheating problem. And I know every single content creator talks about it, but it really is the biggest issue in the game right now. Now let's talk about the second reason, and this one a lot of you guys know about too, is the skill-based matchmaking. With most multiplayer games, you get two options. You get the normal public matches where you just play with random players based on your ping, and you're put against multiple players of different skill levels. You'll have great players, you'll have really bad players, and just a mix of all of the players really. But then if you want something that's more challenging, you would hop onto that game's version of Ranked, which would have a skill-based matchmaking system, because you're going to be playing for a rank, you're going to be playing against other players, and getting to a higher division. But with Call of Duty and Warzone, that is not the case. I remember back in the day, you go on Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, MW2, the lobbies were very diverse. One game you could be sweating your butt off for the whole lobby, and then the next game it feels like you're in a short bus lobby. And that was the fun part, you really didn't have to sweat every single time if you're just a decent player. Now don't get me wrong, I do like a challenge. It feels a lot better when you get great clips and wins when you're in a lobby that's sweaty. But for most players, they just want to play the game and have fun. You know, no one likes coming home from a 12-hour shift, hopping on a few games of Warzone. The first game goes great, you drop maybe 10, 15 kills, and then the next game after that, you're in the World Series of Warzone, and you just go right back to bed, and you lose the inspiration to play this game. What Warzone really needs to do is at least tone down the skill-based matchmaking system in this, because there's more people who don't like the skill-based matchmaking system that we currently have compared to people who do like it. Now, I'm not saying just throw the trash can players into 100 lobbies with World Series of Warzone players just for not having skill-based matchmaking, but at least make it more diverse like the game used to be, where everyone had fun because every lobby would be different. If we want to sweat 24/7, we should have ranked for that only. Because think about it, besides the rewards you get from ranked, there's not really much difference. And now let's talk about the third topic, which I think is going to be a reason that this game will fail, and that is just the lack of fun. Now, most versions of Warzone had different reasons to have fun. With Warzone 1 2020, it was a new game, we were in lockdown, and the game was overall really fun. We had a great pool of weapons, there were some really fun metas, and Verdansk was a great map. Back then, the game was not sweaty, and people were playing a lot different than how they play now, so the game just felt fun, it felt fresh. You didn't really need to do too much to have that game be enjoyable, and same thing when with Cold War dropped. The game was still fresh, it was fun, we got a new pool of weapons, and the game just still felt great. Once Verdansk came along, it kind of felt a little different. Some people were starting to leave because Caldera was a horrible map, but we still had Rebirth Island, so the fun was still there to a degree. But once Warzone 2 came out, the game kind of started to shift in a different direction. Now don't get me wrong, personally I loved MW2's Warzone. Yes, the movement was kind of bad, but Al-Mazrah was a great map, and the best thing they ever introduced into the game was the Champions Quest and the nukes. This game had a whole new reason to grind it out, because every season there was new rewards for getting the nuke. There were some really cool skins, some cool guns, even some emblems and calling cards, and it made the game feel like there was actually something to really grind for. I remember playing so many different nuke lobbies with my friends. Those were some of the funnest nukes I've ever had in my life, and most of the players were always trying to grind it out, and it brought a lot more players to the game and had a lot of players sticking around because everyone wanted those skins and those guns and everything like that, because especially when a new season drops, if you're the first one to have that new skin or gun, it was a huge flex. People would see in the lobby and it was like seeing John Wick in Fortnite. You just knew that you were probably cooked. And then once MW3's Warzone came out, it was still pretty good. Yes, the game had its issues, and there's a little mix between people who like NZXT and people who don't. Personally, I don't mind it, but I think Al-Masra was a lot better. But one thing that they did change that actually was a good feature was bringing the Champions Quest challenge to MW3 as something that doesn't only need to be a 5-win streak. All you need to do was get 30 wins in the season for a contract, and that helped a lot of lower skilled players start getting their contracts, and it made the game super popular. But now with Black Ops 6 Warzone, there is no Champions Quest, and once you play the game, once you get all the guns, you start getting to a point where there's nothing really to do anymore and the game becomes repetitive. If you're not grinding out for something and all you're doing is just dealing with hackers and stuff like that, there's no really ambition to play the game. Literally, I cannot even lie about this, maybe about 80% of my friends list just doesn't even play Warzone anymore, or maybe they'll hop on just when a new season starts for a day or two and go right back to other games. Warzone just feels like it's in a dead state right now and there's nothing really to go forward with. So if Activision brings back new contracts in Verdansk, I could see that being a really cool thing, because I can't even imagine how fun it'd be to pop a nuke in Verdansk, especially if they do fix the anti-cheat system. It'd probably be one of the coolest games we've had in a long time, and I do think that that could definitely revive Warzone. And the last one I want to talk about is more like a personal one. I might get a lot of hate for this, but I feel like omni-movement does not belong in Warzone. Now don't get me wrong, in Black Ops 6 multiplayer, omni-movement is great. I do like it, it's really fun and it makes the game really refreshing, but it just feels horrible in Warzone. I can't really say why it feels horrible, but compared to how MW3 or Warzone 2020's movement was, those ones were a lot better. I felt more precise, I felt more quick, and I felt like my movement was a lot more controllable. But with the movement in Black Ops 6, I still can't explain how, but I just feel like this game just does not feel right. The movement feels really clunky, really janky, if that makes sense. And the game overall just does not feel as smooth as Modern Warfare 2019's or MW3's movement did. Both those games felt so much more crisp, so much more precise, and I felt like I had a lot more control over my movement. So I really am hoping that at least with the next Call of Duty that comes out, they just completely scrap the on-movement for Warzone. If they keep it for the next multiplayer, that's cool, I don't mind it. But for Warzone itself, it definitely should not be there. But here we have it, guys. These are some reasons why Warzone needs to be fixed, and why with this next Call of Duty, we might not even see a Warzone. Because at this rate, we are losing so many players, and people are just giving up on this game completely. So if Activision doesn't step up and do their job as a multi-billion-dollar company, it hurts to say it, but Warzone will not be a thing much longer. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments if you agree with me, or what you think Warzone needs to do to change to be better, because I'm curious what you guys think. But with all that said and out of the way, hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you're new, make sure you guys hit that like button and that sub button as well. It helps me out a lot here on the channel. But with all that said, thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Scotty, take care, and have a great day.